Good morning everybody and Merry Christmas! I'm going to be spending a little bit of time in my kitchen. I bought this giant turkey that fits 8 people. That feeds 8 people. And there's only actually 2 of us who live in this apartment. There's my partner, myself, and our cat Susie. And our cat Susie definitely won't be eating turkey. But with this turkey, I'm actually going to be preparing lots of different meals. And the first one, which is a big Christmas Day meal for 2, will stuffed turkey leg with chestnuts and cranberries.
Let's check out the ingredients. So the first thing we have is the turkey. For the rest of my ingredients, I've got some bay leaves, black pepper, garlic, shallots, sea salt, chestnuts, some parsley, some thyme, and some rosemary, some bacon and sausage meat, and then my cranberries. And finally, I've got some breadcrumbs. Now you're probably wondering about the quantities that I'm using and all of the measurements. So for that information, just find it in the description field below. Now let's turn our attention to the turkey. You want to first take away the plastic string that keeps everything together, because that won't go in the oven. And then the next job is to remove the thigh and the drumstick away from the carcass of your turkey using the front end of your knife. Now, what you don't see in this video is the deboning process for the leg. Now, if you are interested, then I'd be more than happy to create a dedicated video on the subject of deboning poultry. I just didn't include it in this video because otherwise it would have made my video a little bit too long. So yeah, if you're interested, just let me know in the comment box below and I'd be more than happy to oblige. Now the next job is to butterfly the leg, and butterflying just means that I am making some small incisions to even out the thickness of the meat. So like I said, I had an entire turkey to deal with, and the rest of the turkey is going to be used in other recipes, so I'm just bagging them up and some of it will go into the freezer. Now for the next ingredients, which are my shallots and my garlic. So the shallots, it's really simple. I'm just finely chopping them carefully without chopping off my fingers, because I don't want to end up in hospital. Now all we need to do is roughly chop our chestnuts. These chestnuts are already pre-cooked. I found them at the supermarket. Most supermarkets will stock them, and they're usually in vacuum pack bags. So now the next job is to gather around my herbs. So I've got flat leaf parsley. I'm then going to introduce my rosemary and my thyme, just taking away the thick woody stalk. And then I'm just going to finally chop them. Very easy. The bacon that I'm using here is a smoked bacon. It's not the thin cut or thin sliced bacon that you find in most supermarkets. It's a slightly thicker version. And what I'm doing now is just slicing them into 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter slices. So I want nice big chunks of bacon. If you wanted to use pancetta, that's a great alternative to bacon. It's got a slightly smoky, cured flavor to it, so it'll only enhance the finished dish. So you want to bring your pan to smoking point and drop a half a tablespoon of light olive oil, and then just add your bacon and allow to cook until nicely golden and crispy. The next job is to add the sausage meat to the same pan, and don't worry if things start to stick. All throughout the process, I'm just adding drops of water here and there just to loosen up those pieces of meat that collect at the bottom of the pan, which is just flavor. So I'm removing the bacon and the sausage meat, which has just been cooked, and I'm going to use the same pan for the next ingredient. And the next ingredients are my chopped shallots and garlic, which I'm just going to sweat gently over a medium heat in the same pan as I used before. So the next ingredient that I'm adding is my cranberries, and I just want them to cook slightly because they'll continue cooking in the oven. I'm removing all of that and then adding it to my bowl, which I already placed my sausage meat and bacon in. And in that bowl I've also added my chestnuts and also my herbs. So the next step is really important, guys, so listen up. Make sure you allow your stuffing to cool down to room temperature before it gets used to stuff the meat, because if you place it hot into the meat and the meat is raw, then this is the best way to to make people sick. And we don't want to make people sick, do we? So while my stuffing is cooling down to room temperature, all I'm doing now is seasoning my meat generously with salt and pepper. So I'm just bashing my meat with a rolling pin, as you can see here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to level it out, because there are certain areas of the meat that is thicker than others still, even though I butterflied it. So this is just ensures that everything is nice and even and equal in thickness, and it'll allow the meat to cook evenly. And it's also a great way to de-stress if anybody's been annoying you. So the next job is to stuff. We're going to stuff my turkey leg with the stuffing. I'm giving it a good mix to make sure that everything is well acquainted in that bowl. And I'm going to make a trail of stuffing onto my meat. Now I'm not doing it directly in the middle because I'm going to roll it, so I am going to put it to one side. So the next part is to roll your turkey leg, and it is a little bit tricky. It can be a little bit fiddly. You just have to go at it slowly and be very, very patient. So the next job is to truss my turkey leg, which is now a roast. So I'm using some kitchen twine, and you've seen me do this before in a previous video, so I'm not going to go through it in too much detail. But of course, if you want me to create another video all about trussing, then feel free to ask in the comment box below. I'm just making the final knot in my turkey roll, or shall I say, my turkey roulade. That's what it is. It's a roulade. I'm now going to allow my turkey to cool down in the refrigerator for a minimum of 2 hours. You can do it overnight as well, just leave it in the refrigerator then. But just make sure that you allow it to come back to room temperature at least half an hour to an hour before placing it in the middle shelf of your oven. So once your turkey roulade has refrigerated, you can now transfer it into your roasting tin. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to add some more flavoring on the exterior of my turkey roulade. So I'm just seasoning it again with some black pepper and some sea salt. And the next ingredient is just a layer of Dijon mustard, which I'm just going to brush all over that roulade. Like so. So I'm just brushing Dijon mustard liberally all over the roulade, and that's going to give it lots of flavor. Once that's done, you just want to place it in a middle shelf of a very hot oven at 200 degrees. But remember to allow it to cook for the first 25 minutes at 200 only, and then you'll reduce it to 185 degrees Celsius for an hour. Make sure that after the first 25 minutes, you baste your meat well. And voila! Here's my turkey leg stuffed with cranberries and chestnuts. I've allowed it to rest for a good half hour, and this is a finished dish. I hope that you enjoy it.